Now we're going to talk about a case study. Now you have listened earlier to my presentation about leadership style, about the need to engage your team and developing the what we call the result-based leadership framework, which looks at emotional and social intelligence, how do you lead your team, you engage your staff, and so forth. So this is a very interesting case, a video case study, the movie called Crimson Tide. And this is a movie that I would recommend you to look at because it stars Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. Let me explain why I've chosen this movie as a video case. And we all know defining leadership is very difficult. Leadership means to different people differently and is defined differently. One size fits all approach in leadership is ineffective. You cannot use one size fits all as the element involved in both internal and external influence factors which impact on your ability to deliver results for the organization depend on many of those external internal factors. So it's very difficult to control. And also we know that leadership is an art as much as it's a science. So it's both. So we need to understand, and many people have a different perspective. So I look at both as an art and a science. And why I choose this movie, Crimson Tide, is a captivating, very suspenseful, entertaining movie, captivating movie set in the backdrop of imminent nuclear crisis between nations and how a drama that unravels on board a US nuclear submarine. As I said, this is a movie played by Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington. And watch that movie. What I like about this movie, I believe it helps you to understand two leaders with different leadership style. And because of the differences, their strong values and belief will impact on their lives, or not only their crew, but potentially the world. And that is about how do you examine your own leadership practices? How do you now ask this question? When you are faced with very tremendous challenge, tremendous under stressful situation, how do you make that decision? But in this movie, what is interesting is that there are a lot of examples of ineffective decision making. And generally, if I were to look at in the video case that I were to use this, and I will encourage you to get a copy of the video, go to YouTube or get a copy of the DVD, watch the video. It tells you clearly the characters, both Denzel Washington, which is the Commander Hunter, and Gene Hackman, which has played the role of Captain Ramsey, together operate mainly on their emotions. Their inability to flex and demonstrate different leadership style in the given situation is clearly seen in the movie. In one instance, when you have a crew suffered a heart attack because of fire in the galley, and the captain, who was very strong, authoritative, autocratic at the same time, coercive style, insists that the crew go on with the dry run or the drill, right? Emergency drill. While the emergency drill was going on, one of the crew, the chef actually, suffered heart attack. So the captain insists that the drill goes on. Well, there was a fire in the galley. Now, the XO, played by Denzel Washington, which is Commander Hunter, decided and recommended to the captain that they should suspend the drill. The captain refuses. So this is a good example. You see here, situation is a crew suffered heart attack, potentially is dying. There was a fire, and the captain believes is that during stressful situations is the best time to make sure the crew is up to the mark. He wants to test the crew. This is on board a nuclear submarine. So, but on the other hand, here you have a XO, which is number 2, who believe that look, employee comes first, people comes first. Here you have a staff who is having a heart attack. The crew was in shock. You need to address that issue, reassure the crew, but the captain feels otherwise. So there's no right or wrong. Both have different perspective. And in that movie, it helps you to really examine the different character and whether what makes them act in the way they act. And there are many other instances. Many other instances were different style. Sometimes it could very aggressive stance by the captain, even physical violence towards the XO. And you should watch the movie because it tells you under different circumstances, under different stressful situations, people react and behave differently because they're not able to demonstrate effective self-control, or what we call the self-management, as I explained earlier. So this is something we need to be able to understand, that as a leader, we need to have this ability to manage and this repertoire of leadership style. So this case provides us with a very useful lesson. So in conclusion, I want to say, had the captain, Ramsey, which is played by Gene Hackman, and the XO, or executive officer, played by Denzel Washington, Commander Hunter, have thought about it and calmly discussed and reasons their view on the situation, they may have avoided the mutiny that followed in the case study, because in the actual movie there's a mutiny on board the nuclear submarine. That is terrible. You cannot afford to have mutiny, and what make it worse, this is a nuclear submarine. So the lessons that we learn from that movie help us to be a better leader in terms of how do we demonstrate, how do you use a different style, what do we need to do under stressful conditions. This is where I think leaders has failed today, is using different style, as I said, how to bring about the desired results. So using movie as an example, so I think this is a very good movie, Crimson Tide. Watch that movie. To conclude, there's another movie that I would recommend, similar circumstances, called the World War II movie called 12 O'Clock High. 12 O'Clock High is a movie, the star Gregory Peck. It's a World War II movie, or soon during World War II. It's an excellent movie. We talk again about leadership style. How do you use different style? How do you motivate, inspire your team who is down, who is facing tremendous challenge, failure, and how do you get them to bounce back? It's a wonderful movie, 12 O'Clock High. So watch that movie. It's a World War II movie. It's black and white. I caution you, it's not in color, but it has a lot of lessons about what can we do as a leader when you are facing tremendous challenge. Your team is down. How do you get them to bounce, resilient, bounce, develop a sense of optimism, but at the same time grounded to reality? That is what a great leader does, demonstrating emotional and social intelligence. And with that note, I would recommend these two movies. Go and watch and let me know how it goes. Let me know and dialogue with me and on the social media. Thank you.